Homeland Security says the Honduran national first entered the U.S. back in 2015, arrested in Texas as an accompanied minor. He was released into the country under the Obama administration and now, years later, is at the center of this deadly killing, according to ICE.
Okay, so you see what happens in the news. That's Fox, but they all do it. All right, so it's this guy killed somebody, came into the country, and then who do they mention? Obama. Right. They do the same thing with Biden, right? During the Biden administration, came across and then killed somebody. So this happens all the time. And it's so basic. It's so lazy. So if you're a Democrat, if you didn't vote for, I'll do it for you now. If you're a Democrat, you didn't vote for Trump, you should be ashamed of yourself. The blood of 22 million people on your hands and the demolition of great cities like New York and parts of Tokyo are also on your hands. Because you know why? Well, because you're responsible for Godzilla. That's right. You are. You're just like 6 degrees away from Godzilla and his atomic radiated fire-breathing balls of fire that come out of his mouth, you Democrats. Now, here's how it's connected to you. You ready? Here's how it all, you Godzilla lovers, Democrats that didn't vote for Trump. Okay, Roosevelt is Democrat, right? Yeah, well, he was all about the atomic weapons, wasn't he? Yeah, he was. That's one. Two, Robert Oppenheimer, he loosely affiliated with the communists, which is like being a hard scrabbled Democrat. So there's two. So we got Roosevelt, then you got Oppenheimer, got the atomic bomb getting even closer, developing the bomb. Then Truman comes along, another Democrat. What can I say? And then Henry Stippens, he's in there as well, Department of War, Secretary of War. He made the decisions. He was helping Truman. So there we go. Here we go, getting closer and closer to it. And then a guy named James Byrons, I just threw him in there because he just needed another name, but he also was involved. So don't think you're getting off the hook that fast. So I've listed all the Democrats right now. Here's how it all leads up. Then the atomic bomb. Now, of course, everybody knows that the atomic bomb was tested and dropped somewhere near the water, and that caused the big monster, giant sea creature to be radiated and then to come up out of the water and then get mad at everybody and then just start running around, crushing people, knocking what it looked like toy trains, I don't know how that happened, off of tracks.
Godzilla!
Yeah, there you go. You know why? That's because you're a Democrat. And you can do the exact same thing with King Kong. I did that with King Kong. So what happened with King Kong, it was a white guy went over, found him somewhere in the jungles, and then brought him back and sort of tried to use him to exploit him. Sounds like a weird slave stuff, right? Brings King Kong over, and then King Kong is just trying to have a good life, and then all of a sudden he's on top of the Empire State Building, but the capitalists are trying to make money off him. So it's the same thing. Do the same thing with the Republicans. But you see the absurdity of all this? You take an incident of a single individual, you extrapolate it out, and then you think, where can I get this stink bomb to land on somebody? And they do it all the time. And it's so embarrassing when you stop and think about it. It's such lazy news reporting. Again, just take one thing and then say, okay, who can we blame? Like, here's one for you. This is, here you go. Remember this one?
Why do you keep calling this the Chinese virus? There are reports of dozens of incidents of bias against Chinese Americans in this country. Your own aide, Secretary Azar, says he does not use this term. He says ethnicity does not cause the virus. Why do you keep using this? A lot of people say it's racist.
It's not racist at all. No, not at all. It comes from China.
Okay, so here's what happened on that story. So Trump was saying Kong flu, right? Remember that? Or he's a China virus. And then the media somehow decides that when elderly Asian women are being mugged on the streets, somehow the young black men that are mugging them, primarily in San Francisco and other cities, have been influenced by Donald Trump because Donald Trump says the Chinese virus. I mean, really? Again, it's insulting. And the story of the guy that came across the border illegally and then killed somebody, that's true. That's true. It's tragic. It is. But here's what you need to think about. How many stories of somebody that snuck into this country and is in this country now might have today, yesterday, a month ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, done something nice for somebody, actually performed a selfless act, cared for an individual that they didn't know, helped a stranger, who knows, whatever. Now, that story doesn't make the news because that story is not newsworthy, right? But it should be. But how many times does that happen in comparison to the rare occasions where somebody goes ahead and kills someone? And I am not in any way reducing the tragedy of the loss of those lives and the terrible injustice that person doesn't actually have to stand before a court and be held responsible for their actions. That's terrible as well. But the reason it's in the news is because it is so rare. So it's best for all of us to be able to think, whenever you hear one of those stories about somebody doing some terrible thing, think there might be somebody who's undocumented, who's volunteering somewhere to help somebody else. It's all a matter of balance. If not, all we are is just left with sitting there in front of the television set with big balls of fire coming out of our mouth. Let's stay positive every once in a while.